still have a pizza, though.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. Make me wait. You're the worst.
Sorry, not sorry. Pizza good.
I'm just happy my stomach isn't rebelling against me anymore.
Yes, that's good, too. Watched Happy Gilmore tonight. We are not reviewing that movie.
No.
But it was delightful, as always.
Yes. Stop looking at... No. You're gonna die, clown. I tried to mix the stop looking at me swan and you're gonna die, clown. And it was gonna come out to stop looking at me, clown.
Well, clearly the lines kind of, they're not references to each other, but, you know.
They're delivered very similarly.
Yeah.
But I will say, in watching Happy Gilmore, I saw it more in Happy Gilmore how Andy Samberg definitely modeled his own acting and delivery off of Adam Sandler.
Yeah, which just makes me that much happier that Adam Sandler appeared in Brooklyn Nine-Nine early on. Clearly just, I don't know, I think that was Andy Samberg trying to bring in what seems to have been his mentor or, you know, an inspiration or whatever you want to call it.
I don't think they were ever in, I mean, I don't think their time in SNL overlapped aside from maybe like
The hosting gig or something.
yeah, or a surprise appearance.
Yeah.
But with that being said, let's jump into Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Episode 19, Sabotage. Open on Monday. Boyle is running a meeting about mugging. Mugging A?
That was just a mistyped period.
Okay. Jake is late because of a power outage. Tuesday, he's late. He's late because of no hot water. Wednesday, he's late because of no gas. There's various reasons why he's been late. Thursday, he's half an hour early. He's like, Captain, I'm half an hour early. Captain turns to him and in his typical captain way says, good. Your urine tested positive for cocaine and meth. What?
What? Ba-da-da-da-da.
Post-credits, Jake pleads his case to Holt. After a streak of bad luck and now this, he thinks someone is sabotaging him. Holt concedes that maybe he's not guilty and agrees to apply an appeal. Now, but Holt straight up said, I know you don't do drugs. Like,
right, yeah.
and it was such a subtle thing. Like, he said it very Holt-like and just, but it was also kind of like just a passing comment, like, oh, I don't do drugs.
Yeah.
But that really shows how much he knows Jake.
Yeah. And you're right. It was delivered in a very toss-off way, but it means a lot. You know, Jake is under a serious investigation, and Holt is just like, nah, you know, it's fine.
Yeah.
But, you know, you're under
suspended.
investigation, so...
You're suspended,
turn in your gun and badge.
And Jake is like, oh, we need to do this in your office so I can be all dramatic. And Holt is like, no, you go down and file this form. And Jake's like, the system still sucks. Meanwhile, Terry asks Boyle about his and Jake's extortion case. Because Jake has to be on suspension, Terry assigns Boyle to partner with Scully and Hitchcock. Terry talks to Holt about Gina's dance performance. They missed it, but Terry lied and said he and Holt were there. Holt is upset, says he never lies unless someone's safety is at stake. Also, Santa.
Can relate.
He'll have to throw Terry under the bus if Gina asks him. Meanwhile, Jake is having Amy and Rosa help him look into the case. They tell Jake to back off of the investigation because he's suspended. Then Jake meets them at the urine analysis lab. He accuses them of not working the case seriously, and they send him away. Meanwhile, Gina asks Holt his impression of her show, and Holt admits that he and Terry missed it. Gina is hurt, but Holt maintains that honesty is the right path. But the bigger thing was it's just a hobby.
Oh, right, yeah.
And that is actually what hurt Gina.
Good call.
Meanwhile, Boyle is trying to work with Scully and Hitchcock. They're not great. And so he freaks out at them. Meanwhile, Jake breaks into Amy and Rosa's car. He's mad they're working the case as if he's guilty. Rosa punches him. They argue they have to rule out all possibilities, and Jake doesn't trust them. So he leaves the car. They drive off. Suddenly, an ice cream truck almost runs Jake over. It's being driven by Hoitzman!
Hoitzman!
Chris Parnell. That's who that was.
Yes.
He ties Jake up in the truck.
Sophia's old boss.
Mm-hmm. The cocaine guy.
Yep.
He lost his job, his wife, and his home. And, of course, he's blaming Jake, which I don't know that the episode, came right out and said it, but there was definitely a parallel between, Hoitzman saying, my life is shit because you ruined it, even though it was his own actions. But at the end of the day, that's kind of what Jake does. I mean, why would him not having hot water make him late? And Amy called it out in the very first excuse. I had a power outage. You don't have a alarm source that's not reliant on power?
Can't comment on that because we had a power outage and I was half hour late for work yesterday.
Friday. Technically yesterday, yes.
Okay, Amy.
Your phone did go off. However, the phone alarms suck.
Yeah.
You can barely hear them, and they don't continue going off. It's like you wake up and you look at your phone, and it says the alarm is going off, but you're like, I didn't fucking hear that.
And there's no sound as you're looking at it saying the alarm is going off. It's a secondary alarm for sure. I need the to kind of initially piss me off, and then the phone will wake me out of non-REM sleep. But if it's just the phone, I'm boned.
Yeah, but I definitely kind of caught some parallels.
That's a good point. Yeah, I didn't really pick up on that, but that's a good point.
You should have a battery-operated alarm.
Which I do, and apparently the kids' tenacity for unplugging my alarm clock finally drained that battery. So I should replace that. Because, yeah. Because I have a battery backup on mine, but it didn't work. Because apparently that battery's dead.
I will say, when the power came back on, my clock was at the right time.
Really?
My alarm clock was at the right time.
Did you reset my clock?
I did.
Okay, so mine did not have... Okay. Because I saw that it was the right time. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. At the precinct, Gina refuses to dance ever again, so she stops walking. Because that's too close to dancing, you see. Terry confronts Holt, but Holt defends his actions. He says he doesn't know how to make it right. Terry tells him to lie. Back at the truck, Hoitzman wants to force Jake to confess that he made everything up, and Hoitzman can have his job back. And then Scully and Hitchcock solve Boyle's case. They actually did their job. And Boyle is all impressed, and he's like, I'm going to tell everyone. And they're like, no, don't. We did this already in the 80s. We just want to sit at our nice comfy chairs and do paperwork. Also, if we're away from the computer too long, we'll lose Minecraft.
I respect it. At least they're honest. They're like, yeah, we can be good detectives when we need to be, but we intentionally are not, so that we are relegated to desk duty. This is our retirement.
Pretty much. And we're still getting paid for it. They kind of did it right, honestly.
Yeah.
So Heitzman starts recording Jake's confession. Heitzman makes Jake confess to like 80 things. Jake reads confessions from a cue card, including a suicide note. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Yeah. Heitzman intends to kill Jake at the end of this.
Jake tries to reason with Heitzman. He admits he pushed his friends away. Then he hits Heitzman and breaks out of the truck, but he's caught again because he was tied to a chair, so he turtled.
I'm turtling.
At the precinct, Holt talks to Gina. He hires her dance troupe for a youth outreach thing. And then Rosa and Amy find Jake and break him out. Apologies all around. Oh, okay, here we go. Boyle commends Hitchcock and Scully for their work on the case. They beg him not to put in a good word for them. They did their work in the 70s and 80s. Now they want to sit at desks. Meanwhile, Jake is reinstated. He makes a show of it. Lol. Episode 20, AC/DC. Jake and Boyle are staking out a hold-up suspect. A chase ensues. Jake runs across cars until he gets his leg stuck in a sunroof. Post-credits, his leg is injured, among other things.
Yeah, he got fucked up.
Jake's not cleared for active duty due to his injuries, but he refuses to go on leave. Terry puts him on desk duty. Holt meets with Rosa. Kevin wants Marcus and Rosa to meet with them at the house. Holt and Rosa don't want this, so they discuss how to make it not awkward, so they bring in Amy and Gina.
As awkwardness buffers.
Yes. Amy promises to be super chill at the dinner meeting. Meanwhile, Jake hurt himself in the evidence room and made a mess. Terry sends Jake home. Jake comes back after 4 days, but insists he's only there to pick up Boyle for a vacation to Atlantic City. Boyle makes their trip AC/DC. Roll credits. They go to a cheap motel. Jake admits it's a stakeout for the perp's brother, who he suspects the perp is holed up with, and is also the accomplice. The brother is the accomplice.
Right.
At the dinner party, Marcus and Kevin seem to be hitting it off. Holt and Rosa discuss planning conversation. Meanwhile, Gina and Rosa are late for the party. Amy's trying to be chill, and Gina suspects her. Amy brought a horrible smelling side. Gina throws it out the window. At the Jake Boyle stakeout, Boyle speaks all fancy, which he only does when he's being deceitful. Turns out Boyle called in Terry. At the dinner party, it's just Marcus, Kevin, Rosa, and Holt. Kevin asks Rosa about her family. Rosa admits to having 2 sisters and freaks out and walks out. Holt commiserates with her. She says she may be pregnant. Hilarious scene. Oh.
I'm late. No, you arrived right on time. No, I'm late. Oh.
At the Atlantic City stakeout, Jake is mad at Boyle and Terry, and they're mad at him for the deception. He goes to the restroom, steps outside to check a potential perp, and accidentally gets locked out on the patio. Terry and Boyle find him locked outside and let him back in. They're mad at him. Back at the party, Holt talks to Rosa about her potential pregnancy. He agrees to let her out so she can get a pregnancy test. Back at the stakeout, Terry tells Jake he works too hard and it got him hurt. As Rosa leaves the party, Amy and Gina arrive and are told the party's over. So they start chugging wine to make up for it. At the stakeout, Jake sees the perp. Terry makes chase, and Jake can't stop himself and gives chase, and gets hit by a cop car. At the hospital, Jake's pissed the perp got away. Terry says he's done trying to help Jake. Jake gives the story as to why he doesn't take time off.
Yeah, he relates that back in the day he took time off and in the middle of a case, and his partner went at it alone and
Well, no, it was the perp had a shootout with another drug dealer, and 2 civilians got shot.
right, yeah.
Terry tells him that people getting hurt is part of the job, but if you don't take time off, things get worse. At the precinct, Amy is hungover. Gina talks. Gina is hungover too. Gina talks Amy up to Holt, who was apologizing about canceling the party. Rosa thanks Holt for his help and conversation. 1 week later, Jake is better. He says he decided to take a little extra vacation. Yay.
Yay.
Episode 21, Detective Dave Majors. Good one.
Yeah.
Rosa shows up the precinct wearing pink. Boyle calls the squad out for not making fun of her. And then he ends up getting roasted. Post credits, at the morning meeting, masked men are robbing various banks. Detective Dave Majors is assisting in the investigation, and everyone fawns over him. Amy and Jake both want to work with him. Holt allows both of them to assist. Gina tells Holt that a private security guy is there to meet him. He's there because Terry called him. Because Holt thought that this security guy was going to try to poach Holt again.
Right.
Amy and Jake both want to work. Oh, wait, sorry. Back at the robbery scene, Jake and Amy are trying to get ready to impress Majors. Lol, Majors is the dad / grandpa from Raising Hope. He was Jimmy's
Right, yeah.
dad. Brad something, I think. I can't remember his last name, but I think his first name was Brad.
Sounds familiar. Sounds right.
At the precinct, Amy and Gina jump Terry about the security guy. No. Amy, Boyle and Amy. Boyle and Gina. Boyle and Gina jump Terry about the security guy. Terry was given a bunch of swag, made Terry a great offer. He's considering the offer because better hours, better pay, better benefits, diapers are expensive. They try to convince Terry not to take the deal. Meanwhile, Amy and Jake keep trying to impress Majors with one-liners. Majors ends up inviting Jake out for a drink. Majors takes Jake to a secret bar. Majors, it's kind of a speakeasy thing, so it's like going to
Safe house.
Safe house.
Yeah, you gotta give a password to get in, and
You will not get the password. So they go and they're having a drink, and the bartender just instinctively knows to give Jake bourbon and a side of orange soda. Weird.
sounds like something I might enjoy, though.
Yeah. The weird part was that he knew.
Yeah, he just instinctively knows he's just a really good bartender.
But it turns out Majors wants to ask Amy out. So Jake takes a shot of the whiskey, the bourbon, and Majors is like, that's a sipping whiskey. And Jake's like, yeah.
Yep. Been there.
At the precinct, Jake's in a bad mood. He admits to Rosa he still likes Amy. Because Rosa is a total wingman and knows, and she's just like, don't be stupid. Rosa's kind of my spirit animal. In
Rosa's
some
pretty
ways.
great.
Yeah. He told Majors to go for it. Rosa tells him he needs to make it clear he's still an option. Meanwhile, Boyle and Gina are throwing Terry a please stay party. But let's see. No but. Never mind the but.
Oh.
Jake and Amy's investigating with Majors isn't going great. Forensics isn't great. Jake asks to talk to Amy privately. He wants to ask her out. It's interrupted. Boyle and Gina ambush Terry with lavender yogurt. Holt gives Terry overtime makes him cancel date night. So Holt wants Terry to digitize all of his old cases.
Which, working in IT is a reasonable request if it's somebody you thought was leaving.
Yeah. At the investigation, Jake makes a title of our sex tape joke to Amy. Our sex tape, not your. He's like, your. Whoops. But he
Whoopsie.
also solves the case. Now he wants to delay the end of the case because he hasn't talked to Amy yet. Jake and Rosa discuss the failure to ask out Amy. Rosa gives Jake advice. Meanwhile, Gina and Boyle did Terry's overtime work, but Holt intercepts and gives Terry more work. Jake goes back to the secret bar and is barred from entering. He stakes it out to get the new password. It fails. He picks the lock instead. But then he sees Amy and she's giving the double signal that she does when she likes someone. She
does the double tuck.
Double tuck. Tucks both of her hair strands behind her ear.
Yeah, which Rosa had pointed out to Jake, and she did this great thing where she was like, you can always tell when Santiago is interested in somebody. She does double tuck. It's like she does this like totally girly thing that Rosa would never do, and Jake's just like,
well, that's burned in my memory now. So she does that while talking to Majors, so Jake is like, okay, well, I'm out. Back at the precincts, Terry tells Boyle and Gina that he declines the offer. He's staying at the 9-9. Terry reveals that Holt's the reason he stayed because the old cases he was archiving showed him all the good work they do. Because, of course, that's how Holt do.
That's how Holt do.
Back with Majors and Amy, turns out she turned him down. Jake goes to talk to Amy. She says, Mage officially doesn't date cops.
She officially no longer dates cops, is what I tried to type.
So she ends up pranking him, and as he leaves, she double tucks.
The slow burn, man, it's so good.
So good.
So good. Yeah.
Love it.
Such a subtle scene that invoked so much emotion. You're just like, oh my gosh. She likes him. Yeah. This show, man.
Well, and she had mentioned that, I don't know, she had said something like, when she was talking to Majors, I think Jake must have come up. So I'm thinking when she did the double tuck was when Jake came up with the conversation.
Ah, good call.
And that's what Jake saw.
Good call. Yeah. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Because, yeah, I was kind of like, okay, but she did the double tuck. She didn't know Jake was there. What's that about? But he came up in conversation. And again, Rosa being a total wingman. Awesome. So, yeah.
Love the show.
So good. I'm really glad we're rewatching it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And especially knowing what ends up happening.
And the fact that last season starts in August.
Yep. We had to. Absolutely. I love rewatching a show in preparation for the final season.
Yes.
It's the way to go.
Highly recommend it if it can be done.
If it can be done.
Can't do it with Supernatural.
No, unless you know like 2 years in advance.
Can't wait.
All right. Are we good?
We're good.
All right.